Hi everybody, today is August 17th, 2013. Sometimes I think this world is gone absolutely mad. Remember the film, It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World? Drones over DC. Two enormous flying fortresses are scheduled to be tethered above the nation's capital as part of an effort to boost air defense. Yep, I am so glad that giving up all our civil liberties, our constitutional rights, is making this country so much safer that they gotta put up giant blimps over our nation's capital, something like out of a apocalyptic science fiction movie, to make our world safe. I guess I'm going to have to restock my wardrobe, get a whole new set of clothes, those new apocalyptic fashions, just to fit in. In Washington, it's not uncommon to see Marine One, the presidential helicopter, commuting from the White House to various points around town. In fact, there's all kinds of machines in the skies above the Beltway. I just think Washington's one of the most dangerous places to live. The crime rate there is horrendous. From Air Force One, jets and weather balloons, to news choppers and passenger planes serving one of three regional airports. But even locals may be surprised next year when they look up and see two enormous white blimps hovering above the nation's capital. Called aerostats, the technical term for a blimp, the Pentagon has plans to deploy the giant airships over the Baltimore and Washington, D.C. area in 2014 in order to patrol the skies more efficiently than ground-based radar systems and more inexpensively than manned surveillance planes, drones. A pair of Raytheon JLENS, Joint Land Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Nested Sensor. There's a lot in the name. Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Nested Sensor, aerostats, will be positioned at 10,000 feet with the mission of spotting and tracking incoming airborne and surface threats such as cruise missiles, high-speed attack boats, armed drones, planes, tanks, and trucks. At 238 feet across each, the aerostats provide a 360-degree radar surveillance capability that can stay aloft for 30 days at a time. Significantly, during a time of fiscal austerity in Washington, they're also much cheaper than traditional planes. One system provides the warfighter the same around-the-clock coverage that it would normally take 4 or 5 fixed-wing surveillance aircraft to provide, said David Gola, a senior vice president at Raytheon. James Colbert, a defense expert at the Jewish Institute for National Security Affairs, says if you want 24/7, 365 aerial coverage, keeping planes aloft is fabulously expensive. Fixed-wing planes require fuel, maintenance, pilots, and ground crews. Aerostats are persistent and low cost. They just sit there as long as they have helium. Beyond the affordable price tag, Colbert has high praises for what aerostats can do for defense. By putting radar so high in the air, it gives you an enormous field of coverage, he says. For a long time, the system has been heavily touted and asked for by U.S. commanders in the field for Persian Gulf areas, because you can deploy them in places like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain, and have persistent surveillance across the region, probably well into Iran, based on the range on which those radars can surveil. Not surprisingly, Israel, with vital surveillance needs, has been involved in the research and development of aerostats for years. Two companies, Rafael and Elat, a subsidiary of Israeli Aircraft Industries, are producing and making homegrown aerostat systems. Israel has also delivered aerostats to India for deployment along with its sensitive northeastern border with Pakistan, which also use aerostats for surveillance. The Israelis have been involved with aerostats for several decades because they have their own needs for persistent aerial coverage into Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, and Jordan, says Colbert. Israel also used tactical aerostats to suspend camera systems. These things are highly stable, highly advanced, and stable in almost all weather conditions. They're built better, last longer, and if you know you need coverage from a fixed point, it seems wasteful to keep sending airplanes to rotate above that airspace when you can simply suspend the radar system from an aerostat. Colbert says Israel is keen on integrating aerostat technology into its air defense systems. You know, this is getting ridiculous. We have appliances spying on us in our home. We have our cars telling where we're at and possibly even listening to us. They're putting technology in cars that has the same technology as the black boxes as an airline has. They listen to and watch us on our cell phones and iPads and tablets. We have cameras on street corners. We have satellites in the sky. And now we're going to have blimps flying in the air, flying along with, of course, the little drones. The article goes on to say, back in Washington, defense officials say the goal of stationing the blimps on the East Coast is to test their ability to track threats from land, air, sea, and military situations. You have boats, planes, and all kinds of traffic here. It should be a good test of the blimps, said Rayathan Douglas Burgess. He said the JLENS system should be able to see from New York all the way to southern Virginia. John Pygoff, the defense analyst for globalsecurity.org, calls himself a big fan of tethered aerostats and says they've been used for some time on the Mexican border, in the Caribbean, and Iraq and Afghanistan. Oh yeah, we can see what great job they've been doing along our borders, right? What's interesting about this article, it continues to call them flying fortresses. A fortress is armed and protected with some kind of military equipment, is it not? Okay, and I'm concerned about this too, because anytime they deny something, you know something's up. Stressing that the blimps are equipped only to detect military threats. Rayathan Burgess says citizens shouldn't worry. Radars can only read license plates in Will Smith's movies. Right. If you believe that, then you are worse than an ostrich with your head in the sand. They place chips in our clothing and everything else when you buy it from the store. Put in there at the point of manufacturing, a fortress in the sky. Alright, bookmark my site. I'll keep you up to date. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.